The family of DJ Broadus II is still seeking justice 5 years later after he was killed at the hands of Garner Kent Frazier, who is the son of a retired sheriff's deputy from Baker County, Florida. The only charge that Frazier faced was tampering with evidence, for which he was only sentenced to 1 year in prison. And despite being found guilty of tampering with evidence at the scene, murder charges were never brought against Frazier because of Florida's stand your ground law. And today, the family and activists continue to organize, calling for justice for DJ Broadus and for the charges of murder to be brought against Garner Kent Frazier, even as the family celebrates the birthday of DJ.
Today, DJ would have been 36. Me and DJ are actually 13 months apart. So today, 5 years ago, is actually the last day that I saw him. I saw him on his birthday, a week before he was killed. We had actually met in Orlando because I was in Orlando doing a training session with this company I was working with. And he came to Orlando for a few days. And we actually had spent some time together. His son always celebrates his birthday. So ever since he's passed, him and his mom always celebrate his birthday, which I really, really love. Like, she makes sure he never forgets his dad's birthday.
Dominic Broadus lost his life on the Frazier property. This property is where they used to have Klan rallies decades ago. The Frazier family, which has been entrenched in white supremacy politics in the state for a long time. Guard Frazier, his father was a Baker County Sheriff's police officer who used to be a Jacksonville Sheriff's officer. We met the family of one of the victims that he actually T-boned while on duty, left a woman paralyzed, suffered no consequences. He actually shot an African-American man when he was with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. I believe he left him paralyzed, suffered no consequences besides losing his job, and then was able to go to Baker County. And even that whole family, that family lineage in Baker County still has a lot of impact and strength. J.E. Frazier was the head of the Ku Klux Klan in the mid-1900s. They share the same last name. So this is, when we talk about white supremacy, we're talking practically. We're talking families of influence that have entrenched control over legal institutions and perpetuate that and carry that out.
DJ Broadus's case and how heartbreaking it is that today is his birthday and his son can't hug him and he doesn't have justice and he doesn't have a reason. He said he was looking for justice, but it's hard to find. Hopefully there'll be an answer soon. And this is the world that we're living in. This sounds like the legacy of lynching in America, nepotism, cronyism in America. And I am hopeful that as we continue to work with the family, that they will be able to say that their march towards justice was victorious.
My mom, she doesn't really like to talk about it a lot, but his civil trial starts May the 1st. So that's the one that we're really hoping that Caden will really benefit from. It's an organization that my dad is a part of in Florida. I think it's called, it's like the dads who lost their son. And I'm not sure of the dad's name, but it is one dad that he does communicate with, that he lost his son. I'm not sure. I believe it was after DJ. I haven't really talked to him much about it because I don't know, just the fact of talking about DJ, it really hurts and I don't really like talking about it. I choose when I want to have a discussion with my dad when it comes to DJ.
This was a family that had been victimized by Guard Frazier, and this family of influence was able to escape justice, escape accountability due to the fact that we have very much a white supremacist injustice system here in the state of Florida, and I'm sure elsewhere, of course, not just in the state of Florida, but especially here where you have this new confederacy that still reigns supreme. Even if you go to the Baker County courthouse, they still have murals of the Ku Klux Klan on the walls, and they refuse to take it down. So imagine trying to seek justice in a courthouse that still celebrates the legacy of the Klan. And that's why we fight for justice. That's why so many people have gotten involved in the struggle to fight for justice for Dominic Broadus, for DJ Broadus, because we understand that this could have been any of us, especially in the state of Florida, especially in the Deep South, which is why we must continue to organize and fight and unite.
What we have known as a resident of South Georgia and North Florida is that a lot of the times when people think of our paradisiacal state, they think of sandy beaches, they think of breezy river walks, they think of palm trees. As someone whose mother was a sharecropper, with its brutal post-emancipation, still very slavery-like sharecropping systems, where my mother was taken out of school at 7 years old and never went back to school. And so what's happening to Black people in that part of the country, people don't really understand. They think Florida, Miami, dolphins, manatees, but they don't understand that the northern part of Florida on the Tallahassee side borders Alabama. The northern part of Florida on the eastern side borders Georgia. And so our legacy makes us more of a cultural kin of South Georgia and lower Alabama, which they call Tallahassee, than the sunny beaches of even Tampa and Clearwater.
Think about in Baker County how many Dominic Broaduses unfortunately have happened historically, in which a Black man was killed and his death not treated the same as a white man. That's, Ella Baker, until the killing of a white man is treated as the same as a Black man. But out of this, we've seen a movement. In Baker County, we had town halls in Baker County with Black clergy. We had a rally, a march in Baker County where you had hundreds of Baker County residents actually participate. This was their first time participating in a march. 2020 was a lot of people's first time participating in resistance, hitting the streets. And a lot of them didn't even look like us, And I think the, white supremacy, Ron DeSantis, these new type of fascist Republicans, they kind of see that and they want to be proactive in kind of stomping that out. But, they're just simply, in my opinion, they're burying seeds, because we're going to grow and we're going to sprout and this movement is going to keep going. And, I think even the struggle for justice for Dominic Broadus Jr., that is an example of, this is a struggle that's been happening for years and years, but it's growing, it's becoming more potent, and we're organizing. And this is something that they wouldn't have seen even 20 years ago. We
work directly with families. Often there are financial challenges. People are unable to work in the aftermath. They need to apply for Social Security disability because they cannot go on. Going to rallies with families. One point we called a family and they said, we can't even host the vigil. This is a Latin family up in Lakeland. And they said, we can't even host a vigil. We went down there and someone from our team read the rosary in the rain. It was the saddest thing you've ever seen in your life. The children sitting on the spot where their father was murdered. The Joseph family that I worked with for years here, finally victorious, $15 million verdict for them. I worked with them for a year when nobody thought that was over and it was gone. We brought that issue back to fore. So the work with the families has been a big thing.
But one of the things that we do here in Jacksonville is have worked closely with the families. We've worked closely with Mr. Broadus. He's been an incredible fighter. The whole family, has been very active in this fight for justice. We work with mothers who've had because they are the fuel of the movement. I think any movement that doesn't center those folks mostly directly affected by police terror, by racist vigilantism, is a movement that won't win. And those people are the fuel and they inspire us every day.
What's happening with this family, what people don't understand is that when we have these events, when we do what we do, those families are left with their beds and their pillows at night. They're left with stones with names on them. They don't get anything from any of this. This is their life for the rest of their life. And if you've ever lost anyone, you know that grief doesn't go away.